back again to a little Austin Sports Weekend with Austin the Man here himself. It is time to talk a little sports this week. We've had a little bit of a hiatus, but we are back and stronger than ever. So let's talk a little sports. Before we get started, though, thanks again for SevereTV.com for setting us up in the beautiful studios here, for taking care of us. Thanks again for Autographs Plus for sponsoring us. They got a couple stores, one in Pigeon Forge, one in Sevierville. So let's get started. Oh, well, a little shout out before we get started here. Thanks again. There was Eric Ainge gave us a little, got us a little autographed Josh Dobbs hat there. So thanks, shout out to Angie there. Thank you, man, for hooking us up with that. Well, let's get started with some
All right, this news bulletin
breaking
for
news.
this week.
What you got?
I've got a little something spicy to start off our day.
What you got?
Dan Hurley possibly leaving UConn for the Los Angeles Lakers.
I heard that. I thought that was a little bit shocking. But from what I understand, they are not just looking for him. They are targeting him. They are going to try to put together a huge package deal and try to lure Dan Hurley away. Just for people who don't know who Dan Hurley is.
He is the UConn's men's basketball head coach who has led the Huskies to 2 straight national championships.
And there hasn't been back-to-back champions happen in a long time.
Since the 2006-2007 Florida Gator teams.
So it took 17 years to get a back-to-back champion. It's so hard to do right now because there's so much parity. There's so many good teams out there.
But he's managed to do so in Storrs, Connecticut.
That's what I say. And honestly, he's probably a favorite to win it again next year, unless
the Lakers woo him away.
it is. From what I understand,
there are pros and cons to this.
Yeah,
I just don't
on both
see-
sides.
You could go to the Lakers and be the man who could lead the Lakers to prominence. Or on the con side is, I think there's too many problems on the con side for me. LeBron James, as egotistical as he is, he's 40 years old.
Yeah,
and Anthony Davis is approaching his mid-30s as well.
Yeah, I think it would be hard. It would be hard for me. It would be hard for me to leave UConn because I've built such a gigantic juggernaut there. That's won 2 in a row, is favored for the next one, and might even, you might win 2 or 3 more titles out of the next 5 or 6 years, which would make you one of the best coaches in the history of basketball. But
Money.
How many times do you get to coach the Lakers?
Not very often.
I mean, they've had a few mediocre coaches over the past 10 years or something that hasn't really done a whole lot there. But what if you came in and saved the franchise and you became the next Lakers great coach? That is luring. That's more luring than going to Houston being the next great Rockets. You know what I mean? This is the Lakers. So if you could go in and save the Lakers...
Well, that's going to be a hard thing to do, if I'm honest.
That's the downside to it. I don't, as good as coach as he is, I don't know if
Does
there's
his
any saving the Lakers right now. I think the Lakers peaked, and then they're on their way back down, and they have to hit bottom before they can start going back up again. And I don't know if Hurley wants to go in and be on the bottom and have to rebuild 3 or 4 years of a team before he can make a championship team. I don't know. But from what they're saying, they're preparing a massive, that's the word, massive long-term contract to offer to him. So if you can double your money and be the next great Lakers coach, it's tempting, man. It's tempting. I don't know. But you're leaving
a very promising situation too, and your hometown area.
Yeah, you are the man. But I don't know. That's a tough one.
It's either go to LeBron and the Lakers or stay with the Huskies and win another title, possibly. I would choose to stay, but you never know.
For an extra $5 million a year, would you go? It would be tough. It would be tough. It would be tough. What you got there on the next line?
The Mavericks and Celtics are set to kick off the NBA Finals tonight.
Yes, we are getting the Mavs Celtics. The Celtics are the favorites in this. The Celtics, honestly, they've had the best team the entire year. They should be the favorite, but I almost think that Dallas is the hotter team right now. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. I feel like Dallas has had a harder road too.
They have. They've went through the last two series they've played. They've played arguably two championship-worthy teams.
And they defeated the Thunder and the Timberwolves in a 6 or 5 games. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't be too confident if I was Boston right now.
No, they've beat the number 1 team and the number 2 team in the West to get to where they're at. And and it looks like they've got stronger as they have went. What's your prediction and how many games? Who do you think is going to actually win the series?
If I had to throw anything out there,
In a 7-game series, what you got? How many games?
Mavericks in 6 or 7.
Honestly, no. This is we have not talked about this. This was a new one we just sort of threw in here. I've got the Mavs in 7. Even as strong, it's tough. The Celtics they're the better team on paper. They are. They're
Better record.
better
home
record,
court.
home court. Tatum's fantastic, but man, this is almost like the New York Giants going against the New England Patriots. You ended the season 9-7, but you're on fire right now. The Mavericks are on fire. I wouldn't want to be playing them, but we'll talk about it once we get a couple games in. But right now we've both got Dallas in 7, which is weird. Go ahead. What's your next one you got there?
The White Sox continue to be horrible.
They are terrible, dude.
I mean, they are just
They've got their worst record in franchise history, don't they?
through like 60 or 70 games. It's abysmal.
They are 15-47.
That's awful. That is just awful.
15. You're a 75% loser.
That's just terrible. I can't even wrap my mind around that.
No. The next worst team has 21 losses.
Well,
so
on
they
the
are 6
opposite-
games under. Go ahead.
So on the other side of the spectrum, your Yankees are rolling along.
I'm a Yankees fan. I was a Yankees fan back when Reggie Jackson was swinging the bat for 3 home runs and one game off of 3 different pitchers. Yeah, I'm a Yankees fan. The Yankees look better this year than they've looked for a long time. Bringing Soto in somehow settled
Brought
down
in
the pitchers.
energy, brought up the energy level.
It did. Hey, Soto come in, brought up the energy level, and I think it's raised the entire. The pitchers are better. The relief pitchers are better. Everything's better.
The pressure is now on their GM Brian Cashman to bring in some relievers.
They do need. If I was to do anything, I might bring in 1 reliever, 2 relievers. But right now, the 2 hottest bats in the Volpe's got on a 31-game hitting streak, and Judge is on. They've got the 2 longest hitting streaks, and right now Judge's. I think Judge is already on 21 homers. I may be off 1 or 2 there, but I think he's already got 21 homers. He's cranking. Soto's batting 320. The Yankees are on fire right now. But on the flip side of the National League, the Phillies have the same record too. They're 44-19.
They're raking along with Bryce Harper leading the way.
Bryce Harper, my man Bryce Harper, who is a huge Tennessee Vol fan. Thank you very much, Bryce Harper. Yeah, the Phillies are blowing it up too. It's going to be
Once
something.
we're on the topic of baseball, we'd have to talk about the biggest retirement news in the history of baseball that we didn't mention.
Now, normally it's sad if somebody retires from baseball. You're going to miss them. You're going to miss what they did for the game.
Well,
Not this
case,
one.
Angel Hernandez is retired.
Angel Hernandez. If you don't know who Angel Hernandez is, look him up on YouTube. He is
Some
the
of the-
worst umpire in the history of sports. Not
Some of
just
his-
baseball.
Some of his strike and ball
Sports.
calls are just absolutely befuddling. Just ridiculous ball calls. Just
It's terrible.
stupefying strike calls on top of it.
Yeah, just
And
horrible. His
awful
balls
on
are-
base.
yeah,
First base.
I saw him one time. He was umping first base, and he had 2 plays overturned back to back. I mean, you're going to miss one every now and then, but I mean, back to back, dude.
And that was in a playoff game.
Yes. So
I wonder
yeah,
why he didn't do the World Series.
that would have been embarrassing if he would have got into a World Series and cost somebody something. That would have been terrible. But yeah, I am definitely glad to see him go. What you got on there next?
The Vikings get a little Winter Warrior alternate jersey this upcoming year.
I saw that. That actually looked pretty cool. I like their alternate jerseys there.
It's
and,
nice and white too. It's like a winter, as it implied, white.
and the Jazz also.
The Jazz got those. Have you seen their jerseys? They're nice little throwbacks to the '90s mountain jerseys.
I love the Utah Jazz mountain jerseys. It's got a little bit of the. Oh yeah, it looks
the purple
it looks
mountain
good.
jerseys with the Utah.
Yeah,
They're starting to do it. I think either next year or the year after. I think that's when they're starting to use them.
I think that's going to be fantastic. What do you got there next for us?
The college football playoff schedule has been released, and you have info on it.
I do have the college football playoff schedule right here for you. It is going to be fun. We have 4 games starting out first. Friday, December the 20th, we will have an 8 p.m. game. And I can sort of understand this. It's hard to have 4. I wish every college football game was on Saturday, because what's Saturday?
That's
It's
college football day.
That's college football day. But we've got one on Friday night. I can sort of see that because it's hard to play 4 games on Saturday. So you got one Friday night, December the 20th at 8 p.m. Saturday, the 21st, you've got a nooner. You got a noon game. You got a 4 o'clock game. You got an 8 o'clock game. The top 4 teams don't play the first weekend. They get buys. So the bottom 8 play in these first 4 games. And of course, 4 of those teams will be eliminated. So you'll have 8 teams going into the second round of playoffs. The second round of playoffs, there's not a Saturday game on it.
It's Tuesday, Wednesday.
They're doing the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day thing, which I guess that's okay because you're used to seeing bowl games on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. They're actually making them bowl games. The second round of playoffs will be Tuesday, December the 31st. You've got one on that Tuesday night at 7:30. That will be the Fiesta Bowl.
Oh, that's a classic bowl game.
The Fiesta Bowl.
I remember one game. There was one game that got me into the sport entirely, and that was Boise State against Oklahoma. And
The Statue of Liberty. Everybody knows what that is.
That was the game when Boise won the game as an underdog. That's what college football is about. Man.
And wasn't there a team that wore orange that won a national championship in that game?
Yeah, I think
it might have been Tennessee. I don't know.
Yeah, the Fiesta Bowl is a well-regarded
it's
game.
a well-regarded game. Yeah, we've got 3 games on New Year's Day. We have at 1 p.m. we have the Peach Bowl, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Will be our second playoff game. We have a 5 o'clock game. The granddaddy of them all.
The Rose Bowl.
The Rose Bowl will be 5 p.m.
That is a pure classic game for many others and many people.
Yep. And then the last game on January the 1st will be at 8:45. The All-State
Sugar Bowl.
Sugar Bowl. Okay, coming out of those 4 games, coming out of those 8 teams, you will have 4 teams left over going into the playoff semifinals. And the first semifinal game, these are the 2 games that confuse the crap out of me. One of them's on Thursday night.
One of them's on Friday.
When Saturday's wide open. Maybe you don't want to wait 2 extra days.
Maybe they don't want to coexist with the NFL schedule, but I don't understand why the NFL mainly plays on Sunday.
I really don't know. But the playoff semifinal, the first one will be Thursday night, 7:30
in the Orange Bowl.
in the Capital One Orange Bowl. And then the second semifinal will be Friday, January the 10th at 7:30 p.m. The Goodyear
Cotton Bowl.
The Cotton Bowl. And then the national championship game itself will be Monday,
January the 20th.
January
Holy
the 20th.
cow, that's an 11-day gap.
11-day gap. Yeah, so I'm a little confused how they went from January the 1st to January the 9th, 10th to January the 20th.
That's too big a gap, in my opinion.
I think that's a little bit too big of a gap. Also, I guess maybe giving some teams some rest. I don't know, but they're used to playing a game a week anyway. So why? But
Why?
anyways, we've got 12 teams. I'm gonna shut up and be happy with my 12 teams, and I will deal with whatever days they are. I will watch every waking minute that I can of all of those games because they're going to be fantastic. But that is our playoffs there. What do you have anything else for us?
Justin Jefferson signed a 4-year, $110 million contract.
That is a big contract for a wide receiver, and there's going to be a lot
Extension.
more. Yeah, there's going to be a lot more wide receivers out there. There's already people talking. Should Dallas pay CeeDee Lamb this? I mean, the ink ain't even dry on the contract, and they're already trying to make other people mad. So they're going to definitely fluff it up.
Well, media is the media.
The
That's
media is going to fluff it up and try to sell some airtime. What do you got?
in memorial today.
Mhm.
Will Bill Walton and Larry Allen.
Oh yeah, two of the all-time greats. Bill Walton. Everybody knows Bill Walton.
He was that fun uncle. He was the fun uncle who told stories about how his dog was gonna. He and his dog were surfing the beaches of Hawaii one day.
And this is during he's commentating for a Pac-12 game.
I mean,
You know, it's almost fitting though. The Pac-12 passed away, and now Bill Walton has passed away. I mean, that's what's called irony. Irony.
it's
But he
very
was-
sad.
It
irony.
is. It is very sad. Yeah, cancer took another legend from us.
Cancer sucks with a SUCKS.
It does. Yes.
And Larry Allen.
And
a
Larry
former
Allen,
Cowboy.
that was something that was sort of sudden. He was actually on vacation with his family.
And then he passes away.
He passed out, and then that was it. That was weird. So, yeah, prayers to Larry Allen's family and to Bill Walton's family.
And the Cowboy
Definitely,
Nation.
and the Cowboy Nation. He was a top 100 player in the history of football. So he was
One of those key hog mollies for your Dynasty 90s team.
He was. Yeah, nobody moved him out of the way. What you got on this there too?
And to finish it off, we got Jawan Jennings earning a 1-year extension with the Niners.
That is a perfect lead-in because he is a what?
Tennessee
A
Volunteer.
VFL. Our guy, Juwan Jennings. We love him to death. We met him a time or two. He's a fantastic. I'm glad he got him another year. He is definitely one of the best wide receivers on that team. No matter who they bring in and plug in and bring in and plug in, he's steady throughout the whole thing. So I'm definitely glad.
That Super Bowl performance definitely earned it, I think.
Yes, he was outstanding, and we'll go ahead and jump into some Tennessee topics to finish things out here while we're going.
And with that, the bulletin has concluded.
Yay! Let's talk Tennessee because we're always going to talk Tennessee. Good news for the Vols basketball. They did land
Chaz Lanier.
like we predicted. Chaz Lanier. And just a little tidbit, only 2 players in college basketball last season finished the year with 20-plus made dunks and 90-plus made free throws. 90-plus made three-pointers, if I can get it out there.
Well, I know one player who made 90 or more free throws last year.
Yeah, Dalton Connect made 20-plus made dunks and 90-plus made three-pointers. The other player, Chaz. So we're bringing Chaz in, who. Now I'm not going to say he's going to take the place of Dalton. Dalton was maybe a once in a lifetime type of player.
Once in a lifetime kind of transfer.
He was just fantastic. I hope Chaz comes in and does half as good as he did. But Chaz has the same potential, though. He's got the same potential to be that good. So yeah, he is signed. He was a first-team player, 19.7 points per game, 4.8 rebounds per game. 44% from 3-point field goals, and he is character, humility, and work ethic. So he should come in. He was offered more money from Kentucky. He was offered more money from BYU.
But he chose
Rick Barnes and Tennessee because he wants to be coached. He wants to go to that next level. He wants to be boosted going into the NBA. So
he kind of saw, I think, in a way, Connect's year last year kind of really could set a precedent for us as a program, as a potential.
Yeah, a place
Since
to
Connect
go.
is a definite top 10 pick.
Oh, he's a definite top. And Chaz has got the potential. Plus the other transfers that we got coming in. We team wise. Now I'm not saying talent wise because Dalton was an all time player. We'll love Dalton forever.
He's like
There-
Tennessee's
there's
version.
probably 10,000 kids are going to be born here in the next month named Dalton. you know what I mean? He's going to be a Tennessee name forever. But as far as talent-wise for the whole team, we are more talented going into this year at this time than we were last year, and that's saying something.
And we
have-
made the Elite Eight with Dalton Connect and a bunch of other guys.
Yeah,
So you're saying potentially we could be at the same
Yeah.
threshold?
Yeah.
As an Elite Eight.
June last year compared to June this year, we have more talent going into the season unknown.
As a unit, I mean,
Yes.
Dalton
As-
Connect kind of carried our offense last
Just
year,
like
but
we didn't know what Dalton Connect was going to be
until we found out.
until we found out. June last year, our roster looks better June this year than it did June last year. Not to say we're going to perform better or anything, but we have got some serious upgrades in several positions around the court. So that's exciting. A little shout out to UT in general. We are back-to-back SEC All Sports champions because we are good in everything. So yay, there's that. For the third consecutive year, Tennessee is the USA Today Sports SEC All Sport champion. So three-peat. We are America's college sports city. Woohoo! Fantastic. A little sad news that we didn't cover on the bulletin. Ronald Acuna did tear his ACL. So prayers up to him.
Sadly, this is the second time in like a 3 or 4 year span
Mhm.
that it's happened.
Yeah, he came back though and won the MVP the year after. So we pray that he comes back and does just as good
And
that time.
Can be a good player too, because ACL injuries can sap a lot of athleticism away from players.
It can, yeah. Talking baseball, Tennessee baseball is starting the Super Regionals tomorrow. For people who don't know how the baseball playoffs work, the Super Regionals are the Sweet 16. So right now they are the baseball balls are in the Sweet 16 for the fourth straight year. Think about that. 4 straight years into the Sweet 16. 2 of the last 4 years we've been in the Elite Eight in baseball. So Vitello has 4 Sweet 16s and 2 Elite Eights in the last 4 years.
Do you think?
And we still have potential to go to the Elite Eight Final Four this year. Tony Vitello in the last 4 seasons, check out this record, 203 wins to 60 losses.
That's pretty solid, I guess.
12-0 in regionals. 3 50-win seasons, and he's averaged 50 wins over those 4 years. 4 straight Super Regionals, 2 regular season SEC championships, 2 SEC tournament, 2 outright SEC championships out of the last 4 years. 2 College World Series made, maybe 3 with this year. Tony Vitello is the best coach at Tennessee.
That's definitely. I don't think that's much of an argument now,
No.
considering.
We love Heupel. We love Barnes. We think, the ladies basketball coach coming in has potential. Vitello's the best coach we've got.
Which,
he
if
is-
he does any better, you would think MLB teams would start looking at him.
We need to pay the man to where MLB doesn't matter. You can't lose. You can't lose 203 and 60 over 4 years.
That's definitely it. That's why we need to empty the pockets.
We
and
need to
prevent
pay the
MLB
man. We need to
from
pay the
looking
man. He is incredible. What we've done is incredible. Now, I would love to get me some World Series championship out of that. We don't have that hanging on our wall yet.
And everyone pokes at us for not winning a championship in any sport, but
But I think
Coup de grace.
we do have the potential. Jumping over to football, I all of our recruiting is going really, really well right now. The number one offensive lineman coming up, Sanders, is really, really high on Tennessee. I think we've got a really good chance at getting him. And there's another offensive lineman. I wish I would have wrote his name down. I can't think of it. That wants to play with Sanders. I think this next run of recruits we get might be offensive line heavy. I think we're going to get some really good offensive linemen coming in here. Maybe a good cornerback too, coming in out of the Big Orange weekend that we had. And just a really quickie, the number one player in the country for the 2025-2026 season, Faison Brandon. He is a 5-star national number one, position number one state. He is the number one overall recruit, has been to Tennessee, and he's very, very high on Tennessee right now too. He has already had two predictions from prominent recruiting experts towards Tennessee. So I know one thing that Tennessee is always going to be, we're going to be a quarterback factory. We've got a quarterback coach. We got Heisman candidates under him. We've got first-round draft picks under him. We've got a 5-star starting this year. We got a 5-star in the wing. We got a 4-star sitting on the bench. We got a 5-star. We are going to be a quarterback factory. And just to finish up, just like normal, the hardest schedules in college football came out on ESPN today, and Tennessee's got the 8th hardest schedule in the country.
Man, there's a lot of SEC teams on that.
You want the top 8 teams in the country with the hardest schedules are SEC teams.
Well,
Florida's got the hardest schedule. We call that. They are doomed.
That's brutal.
If they win 4 games, it'll be a masterpiece. They are doomed. Mississippi State's got just about as bad. Georgia.
That's a surprise. Usually they don't have that hard of a schedule these days.
No, they're ranked number 3, Kentucky number 4, Auburn's number 5, Alabama's number 6, Oklahoma's number 7, Tennessee is number 8. But normally we've got a top 5 schedule. This year we've got a top 8, so I guess it ain't as bad as normal. But hey.
But you also got Texas and Georgia Tech under there.
Yeah, Georgia Tech's number 9, Texas is number 10. So I'm looking forward. I think we're only 151 days away from basketball, and football is creeping up. It's June, dude. We got football at the end of August. We got like 2.5 months till football.
We'll get to find out who the
we got
good and bad teams are.
70-something days of football.
We'll figure out what the good or bad teams are by then.
Yes. All right. We hope you had a little fun with us talking over the Sports Hour. Be sure and check us out. Give us a like and give us a share. Tell your friends about us. Thanks again for Severe TV for setting us up here. And we hope you had a little fun. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.